Next up is that yes, we want to set up some things like MongoDB, and then when we set up MongoDB, we'll be able to persist some data into our application. So to do that, if you remembered, we did install our Mongoose, and this Mongoose, I currently have my database already installed running locally. So in here I will just simply set up some DB connections and some other more things, that and then we'll do some persisting of data. But to do that, first of all, I will need to find a way to send in data here. So currently, if we see our request body, if I, let's say, instead of send a simple data, I will send I will just send something like request.body. So I want to see what this request.body has. Like when we're sending something via a post request, we're sending it via the request body. And how do we do that here? So let's say our sign up, a person want to sign up, and this sign up will have to have some certain data, and we're gonna set up things like, let's say, name, and then we'll set up name like, say, alpha, which is just JSON, so I'm using here. And then next is, I want to set up like JSON. So next is email, email, I will just use some arbitrary email called alpha@mail.com. and then next is password, so we're gonna say password, and then set like some super secret password there. And then when I hit this request, I need to start my server, and that will be node. We'll just go back here. I'll start it here, and then I can do my request to sign up. But if you see, it's currently returning nothing, because why is this like this? Our request.body is supposed to contain the data we sent to this post request, right? And yeah, this is supposed to contain this data, but we need some extra things to do first to make that complete. So we'll need something called bodyParser. So bodyParser, what it does is it passes JSON. You know, your request comes in as raw HTTP, and then it will do some passing and to JSON and keep it as a request object on the request.body. So to do that, what we'll do is, if you remember, we installed bodyParser, and to make use of bodyParser, I will have to import it in here. So bodyParser, and require bodyParser in our application. So I require my bodyParser, and then next is I just set up some few more things like a middleware. But I want this middleware to run before any of my routes is hit, and to do that I will do like app.use, and then say like bodyParser, and let's do something, it's just some basic setup. We'll say URL encoded, extended through, so we set our bodyParser to make use of that. And then also I wanted to make use of bodyParser.json, so I want to call the JSON middleware of bodyParser on this. So I call this bodyParser.json. So in here now we see that we have this setup. So this is our middleware. This will pass our JSON, and the next time when we start our server again, we are gonna be able to hit this route and get back our data. and now we can see that it just takes the body that we sent it up here and returns it back. So in here we have access to our JavaScript, and actually we can either console.log it, like say, let me do console.log my reg.body. Let's say name. So I want to log the name that is always sent to this post request, which is pretty simple to do, and restart the server. And then the next time we'll send our request, we still get back our response. But if we come here and we can see that it's console.login alpha here. So for each time we'll do that, it will always, you know, console.log alpha. So I will do some cleanup there, and it's just to show that we have this as a JSON object and we can access the properties on this body here. So that's our basic setup that we'll need, so that now that we have successfully a way to get this data from our REST endpoint into our application, we'll need to know how to persist it, and persisting it will require us to set up MongoDB. So to set up this one, I will just create a simple one to hold my connections. So in here I will just have some TypeScript file. I will call it db connections. It's just a TypeScript file that will hold some configurations for my app here. So Mongoose is just, you know, to set up Mongoose is very easy. We can just import our Mongoose into our application here and set require this into application Mongoose. Next up, we'll just, you know, set up some kind of event handlers. So Mongoose has some event emitters, and these event emitters, you know, emit some events when certain events happen. Node.js when Node.js was introduced, it has a lot of kind of like just an event driven kind of programming kind of style, you know, had a lot of, you know, event like kind of like listeners and some things. So Mongoose has some of this in it, and we'll be working with the connection events, and one of these connection events is like we'll need like on, and then we'll have like an on connection, like connected event. Like when this is connected, let us know. We can, you know, have just a simple function that will do a simple login here, and we'll do a console.log, and we'll say Mongoose connected. And then we can also have another one which is just basically one that will take error. So I'm just gonna copy this one here and then paste it here, and then this time it will be let's say an error event. So if there is an error, maybe during connection or something, Mongoose error, like say, let's say Mongoose connection error, which will be more clear. And then we'll log out an error because this callback takes an error, and then we'll just log it out here. Next up is we'll be having is a disconnected event, which we don't really need, but I will just copy this again. And then here we can see we have a disconnected event. So in here I will say disconnected, and then disconnected. So we have some basic handlers for Mongoose, and then next is just, you know, I just want to have a function that will do some connect here. So I will do something like I'll export a function here called connect. So when we call this function will go in and connect to Mongoose. So I will just say Mongoose dot connect. Sorry, this is a function that I'm creating, so I need to set it up as a function. And this function is just gonna simply take our MongoDB connection string, and I currently have it running localhost here on this port 127, which is the default actually. So if you have MongoDB on your local host, you can simply just put it up there. I will call it sample app DB. So that's what I'm calling it. Actually, if you have this, it will automatically create this database if it is not created. That's the good thing about MongoDB. It's schemaless, and some things are usually done more automatically compared to other database kind of things. So basically in here I have that, and maybe if you want, you can just return it, maybe if you want to make use of this later on. But then next up is I have this setup here, and in here I will just import my connect method in here into my www.ts file. So in here I can say that anytime when I want to start this, I want to first connect. So I'm gonna import my connect. So in TypeScript, there are different ways to import modules in TypeScript, and ES6 way and some other way, but some ways in TypeScript is very good because you can get very clean IntelliSense. Like if I do like this and get this, I can see like DB connection, and then when I come here I can see all modules that are exported in this place. And if we see, we have connect was exported. Now that we imported connect, we can just call the connect method. So it will call this method connect when we start our server, and it will connect to that database. So we can simply just start our server back here again and see what happens. So now if we restart our server here, we can see our server restarted, and then it connected to Mongoose. So it connected to our server here.